Hi guys, Nikhil here. Welcome to Salesforce Troop. And today we're gonna learn how to upload a file using a custom solution in LWC. So till now we all were using the standard solution given by the Salesforce, but many people have asked me like how we can build the custom solution. So today we're gonna learn that. So I don't have any slide for this because we're gonna write the code directly in our VS Code. So let's move on to VS Code. So I'm in my VS Code now. So let's create the first Lightning Web component. Press Ctrl Shift P or go to your command palette. I select create Lightning Web component and then I'll write the component name. So I can say file uploader component LWC. I'll take the default path and it take few seconds to create a component. Now you can see our component is ready and let's do the first thing, that is to add the meta file so that our component be visible in our lightning builder. So first thing we need to change is exposed to true, and we need to add the targets, and in targets you can add the target as your lightning app page, record page, or home page. So I'm using only for record page this option, so my component will be only visible for record page. And let's go to our HTML now. Quickly create a lightning card. Now you all know how to create a lightning card. So here I have created a lightning card. And if you don't know how to create lightning card, I'll add the link of our lightning design system library. This is the basic syntax. I'm giving the title file upload demo LWC. I'm giving the icon name. Within the lightning card, I'm creating a div with a class that gives us some margin around our card component. And let's quickly create the lightning input, and that gives us the type file. So we want a file input, and it takes another attribute label, so we'll say attachment. There are many things you can add. For time being we just use these two property only. So our design is ready. We'll come back to our JS file. Our component expose is completed, so let's deploy this component to our org. So right click, deploy source to org. So the component is deployed successfully, and let's go to the org. And I'm in my Salesforce Troop app. I'm in the record. I'm in the accounts record edge communication. So I'll go to the gear icon and click edit page. Now we'll drag our component to this record page. So this is account record page. You can see the name. This is the app builder. So here, if we type our file uploader comp LWC is our component name under the custom section. So we dragged it here and we'll save it. And if we go back, you can see our component is ready and it has some good look and feel as well. So our component is looking good. If we click here, it will ask us to upload something, but right now we don't have any functionality written. So let's go back and start writing the code for this. Let's go back to our VS Code. So let's go and write some code for our file upload in JS file. So now I'm in my JS. So the first thing I want here is to import API from LWC, and we'll say add the API record ID because we want to send the record ID to our Apex call. So I'll fetch this using the API decorator. Apart from that, I'll go here and go to my HTML and add one event handler on change, and we'll say the name event handler open file upload. So as soon as the file upload, this event handler gets called, and we'll define that event handler here. We'll say open file upload and it will receive an event. So the first thing, we need to fetch the file content from that event, and to do that you need to call event.target.files, and files comes in the array format. So we are targeting right now for this example only one file upload, so we'll fetch the zeroth index of that array, so it will give me the file content that's uploading. So now we have already the file contents in our variable file, and now we're gonna use the file reader object. So we'll create an object reader from the constructor file reader. As we know, the constructors always start with a capital letter, and this actually help us asynchronously read the content of the file stored in our user computer or in the blob object, so we can read using this constructor. Now we have our object reader. Reader has many methods, so most commonly used one on load. So once my loading of application is done, I mean the file is done, then this function gets executed here. And the other thing is reader dot read as data URL. So this read the binary data and encode it as a base64 data URL. So here we are passing our data that we have extract from the event, that is file. So this file we are passing it to read as data URL. It converts this data in the binary encoded base64 format, and once the reading of data is completed, this function comes here. So we'll store the data that is converted now in base64 as a variable base64, and the data comes in. We can read the data from the object again. Reader.result will contain the data, and apart from that, we can create a property file data. So here we're gonna create an object. This object will store the file name. File name is file dot name, and because the name is coming in this file object, and so we are fetching that name from that file object and storing in the file name. Then we need to pass base64, that is the actual content in the base64 encoded format. So we'll say base64, and in the last we need to pass the record ID, and we can fetch that using this dot record ID. And make sure you are using the arrow function here, then only your this will work inside the reader dot onload method, otherwise it will not work. So just remember it's an arrow function here, and let's define this property. So file data, initially if we are not defining anything, it will be initialized as undefined, and we are mapping here and we are forming this. And now we'll console.log this data and see what's happening when we are uploading a file. So read as data URL, everything is done here from our end. Let's deploy this component quickly and see what it prints. So the component is deployed. Let's go to our org, refresh the page. And now let's open our debugger because we want to see what it's printing in the console. And now I'll click on upload files and I select an PNG image. I'll say open. And now if I go to my console, you can see it's, I'll zoom it a little bit for you guys. So it's taking the content in the base64 property, file name, banner, icon.png, and the record ID, that is the actual record ID. And if you see this data, it has 195 KB storage data. And here we are sending, apart from data, some extra characters that we don't want to send to the our apex call. So we want to remove this actual the data colon image slash png and the base64 conversion type. So we just want to pass the actual content, so we'll just split this using the comma. And let's go and quickly do that. Let's go back to our VS Code, and now I want to split my actual data using comma. And once it's split property gives us the string into array format, and we want to use only the second part of that array, which means the index 1, because index 0 will contain the other character that we don't want. So now our data is ready and everything is working fine. So let's quickly go and create our Apex class now. So I'll again go to my command palette, create Apex class. I'll give this Apex class name as file uploader class. Hit enter, I'll take the default path. So here I'm not gonna teach what I have written. I'll just copy paste the Apex class, because my whole idea for this lecture is towards how LWC upload the file, not the what's happening inside the Apex class. You'll get this code in my video's description, especially the Apex one. So now our class is ready, and we'll create a method called upload file. Our method upload file is ready, and to make it available to our LWC, we have to annotate it with the at the rate or enabled. And within this method, we are using content create content version, create content link methods as well. So I'll paste those methods as well. And if you don't know how these methods are working and what these meanings are, I'll share you the link from where I have taken this code as well. So I have pasted my class, and I'll deploy this class as well quickly. Do the right click, deploy source to org, and I'll go back and I'll show you the document from where you get the idea what's happening in the code. And here it's all defined. What's the share type you can define. We are using the V as a share type, just to give the viewer permission. Likewise, you can see all code here. Apart from that, I'll share my code in my video description as well. So let's go back to our VS Code. Our class is deployed. I'll just take the class name, and let's go back to our LWC, and we'll import that class. So to import that, we already know we need to use import our method name. It's an alias actually, and from at the rate Salesforce Apex slash our class name dot our method name, that is upload file. So we'll make sure our file method name is upload file, and we'll confirm. So upload file is ready now. So now we're going to use this. So when we want to upload, so our data is stored in this dot file data. We want to pass this data, and let's quickly go to our HTML, and we'll create a submit button here as well. So to do that, I'll use lightning button inside my card. I'll say lightning button. Variant can be brand. That's a blue color, I guess. Apart from that, I'll give the label submit, then the title, I'll give submit, and we'll add the handler on click, and the handler's name will be handle click. So on click of submit, we'll call the apex method. Apart from that, I'll give some class that is SLDS margin left of x small size, and we'll close this bracket. So now our button is ready, and that will trigger the handle click method. So in handle click, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call our upload file method of Apex, and it's a promise call. So we'll take the then, and we'll say once then is, if it's return anything, we'll take that as a result. And I guess that's it. Then we need to go and check in our class what all parameter it's expecting. So we'll copy this and come back here, just paste it for time being. So we want to pass the base64 file name and the record ID. So these names I already mapped it. So what I'm gonna do is I'll do a shortcut trick here, that is object destructuring. So I'll take out the value base64 file name and record ID from the object file this dot file data. So this is a shorthand way of creating a variable or destructuring an object. So now I have those values, and we need to pass these values to our text class. So we are passing those things, and once it's done, we'll print the console dot log result. So I guess we are good with this. So if it's print the result, then I'll write it some in better way, I guess. So I'll say result uploaded successfully. So whatever it sends me back, and along with that I'm using a string interpolation here, and it should print that. So let's deploy this component, deploy source to org, and see how it works. So let's go to our org now and refresh the page. So now it's refreshed. Let's go back to our console and clear the console. Now click on upload file, and I am selecting a JPG file, and I'll say open. So my file content is read. Now I'll click submit, so it will call my Apex call, and now it's success. So you can see it's printing the ID and the uploaded successfully. And to see that, we'll go to our files. Now you can see our JPG file will be there. So now you can see senti.jpg is already uploaded. Let's go back to our component and beautify it little bit, and I'll show you how we can do that. So right now we are not showing when we are uploading anything the file name below it, and on click of submit I want to show a toast message. So let's go and implement that as well. So to first will I want to show my file name below this component. So to do that, I'll say template if true has the file data. It means if file data is present, file data is this where we are storing our object. So if this file data contain anything, then only load my p tag that will contain file data dot file name. And so once the file data is there, then only the file name will be shown on the screen. Apart from that, once it's uploaded successfully, I want to clear my file data. So once this then method comes successfully, I'll set my file data to null so that from the screen this data should wipe off and our file data should be empty and ready for the next upload. So this is one by which we can show the file name that we are uploading on the screen. Apart from that, I want to showcase the post message. For that, we already have inbuilt approach. So I'll import that show toast event from Lightning platform show toast event. Now this event is there, and I'll create a reusable method here. That's the better approach. That will take the title that I want to show. And to trigger this toast, first we want to create the toast event. This is the toast event name I have given. It is show toast event. It takes an object. Object usually takes title, message, and variant, but we want just to showcase the title. So we'll say title as title. This is a shorthand way to write a key and value pair together if the key and value name is same. Variant, because we are showing the success message, so I'll say success. So it will be of green color, and then our event is ready. We'll dispatch that event and we'll pass the event name. So once this toast message gets triggered, it takes the title and show the title in the green color banner, nice banner. So we want to trigger that toast. So we'll call it within the then method because we want to showcase the toast message once the file uploaded successfully. So I'll store this in a variable called title, like title equal to result, and I'll pass the title to my toast message so it will show that ID, or you can use the file name as well. Anything is fine. So now it should upload. So let's deploy this component and see how it works or it looks. And before that, I'll do one more thing. Right now, we are not checking what all types of file is should allow. There is a quick way to hide the file from the user, like what all file you want to show the user. So previously we have seen there is a JPG file in our folder, but I don't want user to see that file while uploading. Okay, so here it takes the expect method, accept method. So accept method, you just need to define what all file should be visible to the user when he's uploading the file. So I want XLSX. I want, I'll copy this types of file. So I want the user to see a CSV file, PNG file, docx, PDF, and all sort of. And this approach will work totally fine for everything. But now I have removed the PNG file. So now if I go back and see if I can upload, I'll not able to see the JPG file, especially in my folder. So I'll deploy this. This is a short way, but users still can go and check all files. But this is a good approach to avoid user to see from what all file he can upload. Okay. So I'll deploy my folder again. Now it's deployed. Let's go back to our org, refresh the org, or refresh the page. So now the page is loaded successfully. So first we'll click on upload files. Now you will see I'm not able to see the JPG file because in the accept parameter, we didn't define the JPG format, right? So we are not able to see. So whatever the format we have defined, only those format will show here. If you want explicitly the user can go and select all file, then he can able to see, but by default he will not able to see that file. This is a one shortcut way to restrict the user from uploading the unwanted file or unwanted formats that we don't want. So now go with the invoice.pdf. So first we'll try with PDF. I'll select this. Now you can see this, the file name is visible here. You can give some padding to look it more beautiful. Now our PDF is ready. If I click submit, now you can see invoice.pdf uploaded successfully. So it means it's uploaded successfully. I'll go to my files and here it should show me the invoice.pdf and the time is current timestamp. It's 1:41 p.m. and 1:41 p.m. So it's pretty new. Similarly, I'll go back and again I'll show you with the CSV file as well, because many people have asked me like whether it will work with all the formats. So this approach is very simple. It will work with all the formats. So you don't need to worry. You just stick to the basics. So now XLX uploaded successfully. And now I go to my files. Now you can see the XLX is uploaded successfully. So let's go to our code and have a quick look what we have done. So I have created a card. Within a card, I have given the padding. Within that, I have creating a lightning input. In that, I have defined the formats that I want this file input to work. And I have adding a on file upload handler to this input file. So once the file upload, takes the it fetches the content of the file using event.target.files of 0. I'm storing those content in the file. So this file contains the file name, file size, file format, anything. If you want to do some validation, use this object to do that. Like if you want to restrict the user to upload more than 1 MB, you can do that with this object. In this object, you'll get all the properties. After that, we have created the file reader. This gives us the features like by which we can read the content of the file asynchronously, so it will not stop our execution. This this reader.read as data URL will get called and it converts the read the data in the binary format and encode that into the base64. Once the data gets read successfully, it called the reader onload. Onload always gets called when the reading is completed. Then we are calling the reader.result. This is the result. If it's successful, you can check reader.error as well. That it gives if the reading is failed. So if you want to do some error handling, you can do with that. Then we are creating an object based on the way our Apex class is expecting. So I'm creating that object with the file name base64 is the content and the record ID of the record, and I'm storing that. Then after that in the screen I have created the button, and on click of that submit button we are calling the Apex method. We are passing the data. Once it's successful, we are emptying our file data and we are showing on the screen the file name uploaded successfully using the toast message. And the toast is pretty simple, you already know that. So this is all for today's video. You'll get all the links that I showed in the screen in my video's description. Apart from that, I'll give you the code for the Apex as it is. I want you guys to write your own LWC. I'll not share this time my LWC code. And if you guys have any doubt, please let me know. And thank you for your time. Have a great weekend.